Brian Mullin is an engineer who is posting videos about the flat earth. He portrays himself as a civil and structural engineer, licensed to practice in 4 states and practicing for 10 years. Why he states this isn't quite clear. Maybe he's trying to add some credibility to the nonsense he is spreading around. About 1 month ago he came out with a new video called Balls Out Physics, episode 6.0, Perspective. This hilarious video about perspective is shredded to pieces by Fiveredpears. I'll add a link to the description. Fiveredpears explains in his video that perspective is totally due to the way our eyes are constructed and that it hasn't anything to do with real life, just with the way we perceive things. I agree, but it seems that there are a lot of people out there that still keep trying to model perspective in the real world, in the process of which they make the most hilarious mistakes. Since I started my series of videos with the purpose to show what would be the consequence of the earth being flat, taking an argument from a flat earther and thinking it through, I couldn't resist making a video about Mullin's explanation of how perspective works in his view. Let's see a fragment of Mullin's video. Here and there I'll stop the video to add my comments.
I've set this board up here based on what you saw at about 5 minutes and 30 seconds. He showed a shot through the theodolite of the crosshair right down here at the base of the building. This is looking across Lake Michigan, okay, from Warren Dunes Park at an elevation of 778 feet.
He refers to the video of Red Pill World. A link I'll add in the description.
Okay, he shot down here to determine the distance to the horizon, and he got an angle of 90 degrees, 13 minutes and 40 seconds.
Red Pill is a surveyor who set up a theodolite on top of the Warren Dunes State Park and aimed it at the Sears Towers in Chicago at a distance of about 84 kilometers.
And he calculated where the horizon would need, the angle to the horizon you should expect from horizontal view or from 90 degrees vertical angle, perfect vertical angle with the theodolite leveled. He calculated what that angle should be, and it was around 14 minutes, a little over 14 minutes. I think this is about a minute off. I don't remember the exact number. And so he concluded, mainly because of this number, I think, that the Earth is spherical.
He babbles on to sound very competent about surveying, although he mixes up calculations with actual data in the process.
First of all, he also calculated what the expected angle should be, vertical angle measurement should be to the flat Earth horizon. He assumed that the flat Earth horizon should be at the base of the building. Okay, and he got an angle of minus 2 minutes and 24 seconds, I think, which would be 90 degrees, 2 minutes and 24 seconds measured by the theodolite.
Then he states that Red Pill calculated where the horizon would be in a flat Earth and says that that would be at the bottom of the building, naming the numbers, minus 2 minutes 24 seconds. And doesn't even see that that's quite a different number than the minus 13 minutes 40 seconds given at the base of the building. So Red Pill gives a fictitious flat Earth horizon that lies much higher than Mullin suggests here. In this way he introduces a lot of confusion about which horizon lies where.
Flat Earth, the true flat Earth horizon would always be a level view, would always be at the center of your view.
Now he adds to the confusion by introducing another horizon, the true horizon, lying at 90 degrees. This means lying at level view. Here he comes with the same nonsense flat earthers are fond of. The horizon lies always in the center of your view and at eye level. Here we are again at the misusing of definitions. There are only 2 horizons with a complete different definition. First you have the horizon as in the line where heaven and earth meet. In the global Earth model, that's the circle where your line of sight is just tangent to the surface of the round Earth. In flat Earth, that would be the rim of the flat Earth. In both definitions, the horizon lies beneath level view. And the horizon would only lie at level view if you are looking on an infinite plane. The second definition is the one used in perspective drawing. It is the line where we assume that all vanishing points lie. In 1 and 2 point perspective you have one horizon. In 3 point perspective you have two horizons, and in 4 point perspective you even have three horizons. Talking about perspective and using the definitions of the horizon in real life is either a token of stupidity or a token of willful deceit.
Right? And so on a flat Earth, the floor, the Earth, would be sloping towards the horizon, and the flat Earth and the sky would meet at this line at 90 degrees. There's no need to calculate it. So the true horizon at 778 feet would be just above the top of the tower because he measured a very small angle to the antenna, -7 degrees.
Here comes another stupidity flat earthers are so eager to demonstrate. The lake seems to be sloping towards the horizon. No, you are just looking down on the lake. He says this to lay the foundation for his next move.
So this right here is what I'm calling the apparent horizon. And the reason for that is seeing the true flat Earth horizon is going to be very difficult because there's air in the way, there's smog. Okay? If you've ever lived by a body of water, then you're probably very familiar with this horizon moving. On a cloudy or a foggy day, the horizon is a lot closer to you when you're standing on the bank. And on the more clear day, it moves farther away. The horizon moves based on the clarity. Okay? So this, I think, is just the apparent horizon based on that day. It was a pretty clear day, but you can see some haze in the distance, especially when you're looking through this theodolite at 5 minutes and 30 seconds. There is a haze there. You can clearly see it.
But first he has to get something else out of the way. Why do we see such a clear-cut horizon that, in the eyes of flat earthers, isn't a horizon at all? And there we go again. Because of smog, atmospheric conditions. He forgets to mention the limitations of our eyes. You can only see so far. The horizon represents the limit of your view. You can't see beyond that. And what is this? What are those rectangular shapes? He totally ignores the fact that in the same picture we see the skyline of Chicago, clearly lying beyond the horizon and at a distance of 84 kilometers. This is far beyond where globe earthers situate the horizon dependent on the height of the observer.
Okay. So imagine that floor sloping up in the hallway, and that this lake and the Earth is doing the same thing. If we get that apparent slope up when we look at a level surface, like we definitely do, then would we get the building kind of sloping towards us? And would that be the reason that we don't see the base of it? Because it's kind of bunched up.
Now he's beginning to definitely shoot himself in the foot. Some flat earthers claim that on a globe Earth you would be able to see buildings tilt away from you. Globe earthers respond with the statement that you wouldn't be able to see that because the tilt is in the line of sight. Now Mullin introduces a tilt towards the observer. According to flat earthers you would be able to see it. Why can't we?
Elevation 778 feet. The apparent size of the building is definitely smaller, and so he's shooting across the lake, level sight, and he had to rotate the theodolite down. You know, remember the angle was 90 degrees, 3 minutes and 47 seconds, and so you can clearly see in the theodolite image that the lake is sloping up and the sky appears to be sloping down. These are apparent, right? We know that the lake is not sloping up, but it appears to be sloping up. And so the building wouldn't the building want to slope too when we get that apparent slope effect toward us or toward Red Pill World as he's looking through the theodolite? And so I think that is what is actually creating this angle here. And this bunching up as you get closer and closer to the true horizon, or to the vanishing point, which is really, I think, goes to infinity. You just have to keep zooming in to see it. But that bunching up effect as you get to the end of this slope over here is what's creating that illusion that the building is smaller.
Now he becomes really funny. Fiveredpears has already shown that it is useless and meaningless to draw a side view of perspective. But given the fact that Mullin has done so, it is interesting to see how he maneuvers himself in hilarious positions in order to prove that the measurements of red pill are consistent with a flat earth model. Now all of a sudden the apparent slope of the lake has become a real slope. Although he says it is still an apparent slope, he draws it like it is real. And then the Sears Tower has suddenly shrunk to a size that brings his top under the true horizon. He does that because a building looks smaller the further away it is. He introduces the vanishing point to explain this. He says the vanishing point lies at the true horizon and lies at infinity. That's strange. The lines of convergence all go to the vanishing points. Lines going to a point at infinity all lie parallel to each other. So objects wouldn't change for size following the lines of convergence, because the lines couldn't converge. I'll say it for once and for all. The vanishing point is a fictitious point where the projection of an object to the retina of the eye has become so small that the object isn't perceived any longer. Therefore it's called a vanishing point. This point is reached as the angle of sight has become smaller than 1.5 arc minute. So the vanishing point is dependent of the size of the object. You can't have your cake and eat it. You can't have a vanishing point at infinity and at the same time objects getting smaller the further away you are. You only can have a horizon at infinity on an infinite plane, a concept most flat earthers don't adhere. You can't have a plane that is sloping upwards to the horizon and at the same time lying flat as a pancake. You can't have objects sticking out above your level view and at the same time being observed as lying beneath your level view. The title of his series of videos is Balls Out Physics. Well, in the physics of Brian Mullin, it is possible for an observer to stand on a perfectly flat plane on an elevation of 54 meters and seeing at a distance of 84 kilometers a building with a height of 435 meters on that same perfectly flat plane, while the top of that building is beneath him. If he could zoom in enough with his camera, he could see the gravel lying on the top of that building. That's not physics, that's absolute nonsense. I don't know the criteria in America to get a license to practice engineering in 4 states, but I wouldn't even consider to employ him in my firm, not even to serve coffee. He's taken a lot of trouble to draw schemes and such, but he hasn't even blown a hole the size of a pea in the final statement of Red Pill.
From this location, you can confirm that the Earth is spherical and not flat.